Mikey, are Patriots players listen, maybe I'm a little cynical, but off the top of the show, I'm not sure if you heard it or not. I said, I'm not buying that they're buying in just yet, right? Like, I think that they got a list of talking points today and they hit them all and they try to instill confidence both in themselves and in people who are watching at home. But it certainly doesn't feel like they're all in or they totally trust what's going on down there quite yet.
Trenni, I think they need to see proof that it's going to work. And up until today, the first 10 days of training camp, they had no proof at all. In fact, I think yesterday was the worst practice of the bunch. And it was awful. Brian Hoyer acknowledged to us after practice today, he's like, when you have a practice like that, you got to go in the locker room. You got to look at your teammates and say, this can't happen again. Let's get in the film room. Let's correct our mistakes and come out here and compete at a higher level. And that's what they did today. So maybe a stepping stone, but certainly I think, look, they were pretty good offensively last year. Not great, but pretty good. And now all of a sudden to change gears and to do this different stuff, I think has left some questions in players. And they need to see it actually worked.
Yeah, and this has been going on for a while because just a couple of days ago, you tweeted this. Mac Jones had some moment of uncertainty a year ago in training camp, but not nearly as many as you would expect for a rook. This summer, far more. Yes, it's early August. There's time. However, the install started back in the spring, and you'd like more comfort and success. Today, Mac was asked if he's getting frustrated by the offense's early struggles.
I care a lot about the guys around me, and when I don't produce or we don't produce together, sometimes it's a little frustrating for whatever reason. It takes 11 people, and if one guy doesn't do his job, me included, then the play doesn't work. So trying to get 11 people to do it right and do it right more consistently.
Mikey, you watch Mac almost every day at practice. How does his confidence look in this offense and this system and really in himself without Josh McDaniels running that offense?
Yeah, I think he's been a little bit on shaky ground. And to clarify, this is all 11. It's not just him. But there have certainly been moments where you look at him and say, well, that guy was open. You didn't throw it. You didn't see it. Or you're feeling pressure now that wasn't there, but because you've been feeling pressure all along, that has been there. So I think there is an uncertainty to this player that even last year as a rookie trying to learn the system, he didn't have whole days like this. And yet he's had a bunch of whole days like this where he's either taking sacks or he's scrambling and running or he's holding the ball because he's not seeing either anybody open or he's just not seeing it the way he wants to see it. So, yeah, I mean, look, this new for him. He's probably in the back of his head wondering hey, we were pretty good last year. Why do we have to change? I mean, Josh had to leave. That's fine. But why do we have to change what we were doing? I had comfort in that. And now you're sort of introducing a new system. Now, to his point about being resilient, and I'll figure out a way to fix this. He's had various coordinators during his time in college and whatnot. And obviously he was not a 5-star recruit and had to work his way up at Alabama. So maybe he just looks at it and says, I've met the challenge before. And no matter what they put at me here, I'm going to meet it again. But again, I think he would like to feel they got to build on today, basically. Have another good day, and maybe you start feeling good about what they're doing and how he's playing.
Mike, when you watch the same team day in and day out, and you hear the same reports about the Patriots day in and day out not looking well, and you're not really paying attention to other teams, maybe we're over-exaggerating. We're making it, as Curran said at the top of the show, apocalyptic with this offense. But you've been to other camps. You've sort of made the rounds for NFL Network. How do the Patriots right now compare to some other teams that you've watched? Is it as bad as it seems?
There's a rather sizable difference in what is happening with the Patriots currently as to what's happening with, say, the Baltimore Ravens, who is a team that they'll be competing for a playoff spot. And obviously with the Buffalo Bills, I've spent time with several times over the course of the last 2 weeks, whose talent level is on a different plane than yours is right now. So to me, I look at it and say, there is a gap between you and Buffalo, rather large, but there's a gap between you and the Ravens. The Ravens might have some depth problems, but Lamar Jackson is comfortable. That's a system built for him. They do everything around Lamar. And I think they have some talented young pieces there. And obviously they have a program that has been consistent for a long time. The Patriots have a program that's been consistent for a long time. But this, in terms of the coaching staff and what's happening with the offense, is something we haven't seen in, I don't even know how long, right? I mean, it's been forever. So to me, there's a rather large gap between them and Buffalo. But I think there's a gap between them and Baltimore, too. And look, they have time. I keep mentioning it's early August, but you'd like to see more. They need to see more. And, they're going to see the Giants in a couple days. I was at Giants camp. The Giants aren't a good football team, but the Giants made some plays on offense when I was there. Kadarius Toney, Wan'Dale Robinson. When you look at the Patriots, say, who's been making plays? Devontae Parker every once in a while. Everybody else has been pretty quiet. They need more guys to elevate.
All right, let's end on a positive note. What are some good things you've seen from the Patriots at camp? Why should we be optimistic that this might turn itself around?
Well, Trenni, you know I'm all about positivity.
Yes,
it comes out of every pore. I'm going to tell you this. The rookie class, Cole Strange has had some rough moments here. And, we'll see. He's going to learn on the job. He's been starting since day one. And sometimes it's looked good and sometimes it hasn't. But it's rounds 2, 3, and 4 that I think you really got to be excited about, at least to this point. Tyquan Thornton, I thought he was going to be a redshirt this year. No, I think now he's going to play, at least if he continues on the track that he's on. He separates not just vertically, but side to side. He's a little sharper route runner than I thought he was. And he catches the ball with his hands, which is something, say, Nelson Aguilar struggles to do. He's just natural at that. I think there's a place for him on the game day roster. And then the Jones boys, Marcus, the 3rd-round pick, and Jack, the 4th-round pick. Marcus is getting good work with the ones right now. They kick John Jones outside a corner. I mean, they're just playing around with depth, but I think Marcus has shown that he belongs on the field to this point. I think Jack is someone, he's a little bit more weight to him, but he's shown up as well. So, we questioned some of those picks and what they were doing, and I was right there with you, like, what's happening? At least early on, the results are good on those guys.